How's everybody doing? My name's Nick. I live in the Catskills, that's upstate New York. I do a lot of working on the car videos. These two cars you haven't seen yet, if you've never seen this channel, you're in the same boat as everyone else because these two are new additions. But some of the other cars that I've worked on, Ram 2500, I've done like 60 videos on that. I'll link them in the description of some of them. I also have a Yukon XL 2500 that I've been doing videos here and there on, and that's my daily driver actually. The Ram 2500 isn't a daily anymore, the Yukon is. But my wife had a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a 2016. We bought it with 25,000 miles. She drove it in maybe 55,000 miles. We traded it in for this 2024 Forester. And this is the bronze color, bronze metallic I think maybe it's called. It's the premium, so nowadays they do this weird thing, but premium is actually low. It's only one step above base, but that's what this is. It's a premium. It doesn't have leather or anything like that, but it does have heated seats, and it does have lane correction, which is really nice. You know, let you know that if you're going out of the lane, beeps. You can turn that off. Unlike auto start, that you have to turn off every time. Lane correction you could turn off, and it just stays off, that's nice. And this car is going to get way better gas mileage than the Grand Cherokee. Grand Cherokee wasn't bad. It was maybe 20, 21, something like that. But this thing's getting 30. Now, somebody had mentioned in the comments, geez, I'm going to find the comment and I'll put it up here. And to look at the EG25 as far as for reliability, because I've been talking about reliability a lot. And a couple of things I've said is that the most reliable car is a brand new car and you get rid of it well before the problems start. Or it's a car that you understand, and there's a few different ways to go about it. I'll link to that video at the top. Basically, reliability, how do you gauge when you're buying a car, a used car specifically. But in that video maybe, or another video, somebody had mentioned, look at the EJ25 Subarus. And I've had an EJ25. I had a 2013 Subaru Outback. It was my wife's car. Well, again, we bought it like 20-something thousand miles on it. We drove it to 75, traded it in for the Grand Cherokee. And honestly, other than the oil burning, which really kind of wasn't that big of an issue, to be honest with you, the car was great. I never had a problem. It shouldn't have a problem, right? I only drove it to 75,000 miles. It's a great car. It gets great gas mileage. It kind of has some pickup because it's light. You know, it's a very light car. And in the snow, it's awesome. And my wife and I, we were thinking about, not to go too far into this here because I'm going to do more videos on this, but I was actually thinking about getting her an LX 470. That's what I was thinking about getting her. It's another super reliable car where the information is plentiful and it's just a car that can go 200, 300,000 miles. And that's what I was considering getting her. But then I started to think about gas mileage and how we have, and especially also this thing is that I haven't talked about, and I'll talk about in a different video, is that we got all these cars that just have terrible gas mileage. The Ram's at 13 to 15, the Yukon XL's at 13, 14, maybe 15. This thing gets like 15. What was I going to do? Get an LX 470, which would be the worst of them all. It gets about 12, 13. And not only that, it's premium gas. So it's not premium gas, actually. It's not 93. 89, I think you can get away with, or something like that. Or 90, or whatever it is. But it's not 87. So I said, I don't know. Maybe we can get one of those as a second car. And I'm talking about 100 series, by the way. And, we said, let's go back and look at Subarus again. And I don't know, we looked at this Forester. And when you compare it to the Grand Cherokee, it's very, very similar. You wouldn't think so, but the 2016 era, that era of Grand Cherokees, it's maybe got a half-inch, 3/4 inch more clearance. It's a little bit longer, but the headroom's better in this. The leg room is better in this. The only thing that has in the Grand Cherokee is the cargo space. But I couldn't sit. Here's the crazy thing, is that whenever we were in that car, the Grand Cherokee, with my son in the car seat behind the passenger seat, I had to drive. I had to drive because I couldn't fit fit in the passenger seat because I'd have to pull the seat all the way up because my son's leg wouldn't fit, right? This car is technically smaller by a little bit, but there's more legroom. I can fit in the passenger seat in this with my son behind me. Crazy, right? Car was 32 grand. It's a $32,000 car. And it was a big upgrade for us as far as for 2016 because we got a reverse camera in this. We got the heated seats, which is really awesome. We got remote start through the phone. You can just remote start on the phone. They just gave that to us. I think it's actually like $150 a year or something like that, maybe. It's a subscription thing, but he just gave it to us. So. It's a great car. It really is a great car, and I got to do an oil change on it. We got, I don't know, 3,500 miles on it now. My wife's going away. We're going to do an oil change on it. I don't think it's any different. I should not be any different. This is the greatest car to do an oil change on. The Grand Cherokee was good too because it's got it's just the same as this, I believe. I haven't even popped the hood yet. But on the Grand Cherokee, the filter is up here. On the 2013 Outback, the filter was right here. I'm assuming the filter's right here. And also, which was great about the Outback, is that I never had to jack up the car. Even though it's kind of low, on the Outback, I could just slide underneath the front here, get my wrench on it, because it's a 4-cylinder. All right, a little bit tricky to find that thing. It's not as obvious as it used to be. Okay, right underneath the Subaru symbol. All right, yeah. Oh, gee, I almost let this thing go. Okay, wow, look at this. They still got the hold up. All right, so let me get you closer. That is the oil filter. Let me go get the one that I have. I'll just make sure before we do anything stupid. Drain the oil and you don't have the oil filter. The car's totally bricked. So that is it. Kind of looks smaller. Well, I assume that's it. M1 108A. You know what I wanted to do? Before we crack this open and drain, I had mentioned Subarus have an oil burning issue. Well, we got 3,200 miles. Let's check how much oil we got in here. Did they cheap out on this dipstick? Yeah, I guess between the dots. They don't tell you, but I guess it's between the dots is what it's supposed to be. And we are above the dots. All right, so there might be a little extra oil in here. It's just kind of strange. Don't worry about this. Just look at that right there, that space. So it's pretty high, I guess, if that's what it's supposed to be. I assume it's in between the two dots. They don't they don't say anything on the dipstick. All right, I laid down a little piece of carpet here, and I got you camera underneath. So I'm a pretty big guy, and I can totally get underneath here without jacking the car up. This says, okay, this is new. I've never seen something like this before. But this says engine oil drain. So, and then it says turn right here. You can see here, these are clips, and this is a screw right here. So my assumption is that we have to remove these. There's 4, there's 2 you can't see. But I assume what we need to do is remove these 4 clips, and then maybe turn this thing on the screw. Let me go get it. Little clip remover. Oh, man. I've linked to this panel popper kit 40,000 times. I'll link to it a 40,001. 40,000? I'll link to it another time. But yeah, this is a little plastic one. Now, the way these clips are, you can just see it. This is what, I mean, I don't know what they're called. It's double panel clip. It's a
it's a male into a female. You have to remove the male part to get the female out. And if you look here, these are on the Ram too. I mean, they all use them. But you see that the male goes into this female and spreads these pieces out, and that's what keeps it in. So you have to remove the male first. And there's 4 of them here. Whoops. And then you just pop this out. Don't try and remove the entire thing without removing this male first, or else you'll break it. That's an absolute certainty, I can tell you that. And you only need to pull the male out like an 1/8 inch. This one is being difficult. There it is. All right, now I assume, yep, that's this. Yeah, this thing just turns. Oh, interesting. And I assume that is the drain plug right here. Let me, can I get you in? Oh, just with this thing turned, it's actually too high for the camera. After you move this thing to the side, there's your drain. Now this is going to be interesting. Used to be able to change this without jacking it up. But with this in the way, it's difficult. All right, so you need a 17, I think. Double check before I say that. That's what it looked like to me. Yes, 17. You're going to need a little extension, you can see. You won't be able to do it without an extension. And let's just crack this. Let's see how tight they put it on from the... Holy... Yeah, man, that thing had to be cracked. It spins by hand right now. Let's get this underneath. And you can see we don't have much room. Yeah, all right. So basically what I do is I have the drain pan pretty much the side of it in line. I don't know, you're out of focus probably, but I'll show you when I'm done. Let's get this thing cracked. I'll tell you what though, it's not easy to not get oil all over yourself here. Yeah, this is definitely a rubber glove job. It's a rubber glove job unless you jack up the car. Basically, you just want to keep this side of the drain pan almost in line, maybe like 3 inches to the front of the car past the drain plug. And that'll allow you to get your hand in here, undo the drain plug. You got to use rubber gloves on this job. There's no, unless you're jacking up the car, there's no way to get your hand out of the way. We'll let this thing pretty much done, it looks like. Let's crack open this. Let's see how tight they make these filters. Let's see if it's hand tight the way it should be. Yo. Well, nope. And my hands are pretty strong. We'll use this one. This basically destroys the filter, which I don't like in this particular case, because if it cracks it, it'll, yep, that's all we're gonna do. So we're just, oh man. Oh, even after I cracked it, I can't. These are good. This right here, this one happens to be a Craftsman. These are good if you obviously don't care about the filter, because it basically just mushes it. Yep, I hear some more oil coming out. Pull the drain plug. Crack this oil. I remember this car specifically because it takes 5.1 quarts. Stupid number.
Lines up. Is M1108A. Now, technically I have a rule that I always tighten it without a glove on, but I don't feel like taking my glove off. I do that so that I can untighten it with a glove on. So basically, I usually put it as tight as I can without a glove on. Okay, so that's on there. That's it. Dipstick down. Let's go put that drain plug back in. Clearly, I do not tighten. I don't use this thing. This is only a removal tool. I never tighten it with any tool, especially not this one. You do not want to tighten it with this one. This is removal only. Now, I don't torque this thing. I don't even know what the torque setting would be. Probably 10 foot-pounds or something like that. A good rule to like prevent yourself from over torquing one of these without a torque wrench is don't use a long okay. Am I on the right bolt here? Yes. Don't use a long handled ratchet. And in this particular case, you really can't. And I just give it you can just see where my hand is, you can see where my thumb, and I just give it a little turn. And that's it. Done. No screwing around. All right, now, I guess you can still see, right? I'm gonna turn this thing back. And to push these plugs back in, once again, the male has to be out, right? So you get the male out, and then you push the male in, right? I'm sorry, you have the male out, you push the whole thing in, and then you snap the male part in. All right, I'm actually not using Mobil 1 synthetic. I'm using Pennzoil. This is the 0W20, fully synthetic. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm mixing it up. Something I'm going to mention here while I'm just cleaning this funnel out. You got to always make sure your funnel's clean or relatively clean. Also, something that can happen with these funnels is that, you look at that. If one of these is really loose and you don't realize it and you go put it in here and it rubs up against something, one of those little pieces come out. Not that it's going to make a big deal, it's just plastic. But if you're anal about it, just make sure you hit that with a razor blade. So that's clean. This is like a locking one. But, you know, nowadays, it's just, yeah. Oh, yeah, all right. Wow, that really does work. I remember when we had the 2013, I used to have to make sure my wife had a funnel and a quart of oil at all times. And what I used to do is that take the old quart. Look at that. I just took off this Pennzoil, and it doesn't come with a seal like Mobil 1 does. But yeah, I used to take the old quart and I would cut it in half so that she always had a funnel. All right, let's let that drain in there. All right, this thing's draining right here, and we're good to go. This, I would say, this is the second easiest car. The 2013 Outback that I had is the easiest one. And if you don't know, if you're watching me for the first time, I've owned, I can't even tell you how many, 40 vehicles plus. I've owned 20 vehicles probably in the last 8 years. I gotta count it up again. I've owned a lot of vehicles, but yeah, the Outback without that plastic piece there was one notch. That was the number one. This is number two. So easy to do an oil change on this thing. They used to want you to do them more often. Back in when they were burning oil, what they said was just change it more often. That was their, right? This is that if you change it more often, you won't go to that low oil light. Makes sense? Because the oil it would consume oil, but boom, then you change the oil and fill it back up. And it wouldn't get down to the low oil light. But if you changed it every 5,000 or something like that, every 5,500, every once in a while, every 10,000 miles or so, you might hit that light. You just never know how it's going to work out. You might get that low oil light on there. But I assume that they've corrected that issue, but there was extra oil in this thing. Not sure. Guess we'll find out on the next oil change. But yeah, I'm going to be doing another video on this car. Right now I'm actually filming it because 3,200 miles, my wife has already crashed it. She ran over the garbage pails and she broke a taillight. So we'll, how to fix a taillight on a liftgate. I guess that's the next video. Okay, it's the next morning. I'm just going to check this level, this oil level, just so we can see what, how overfilled it was. Huh. It was not overfilled. Okay, so this is just where it is. It's very strange. Let me pull another one and just, it's weird. This dipstick is so strange. Yeah, it's, can you see? Well, yeah, you can see it's right there. It's above the dot, above that second dot. It's a good 3/4 of an inch above that second dot. Here I am thinking it's got to be in the middle. There's no words on this dipstick telling you where it should be. But we know it takes 5.1 quarts, and we had this draining pretty good, so I would assume, I would assume that that's the level it should be. That's where it was new, so they put in 5.1. So that's it. What the? Holy moly. This oil thing was, I put this, you believe this? This is unbelievable. Let me show you what just happened here. I was just down on, man, this would have been a problem. This thing was in, like, crooked, like that. And it's tight right there, right now. But when you're looking at it like this, you don't realize it. Wow, that would have been bad, like really bad. I can't believe I didn't notice that. All right, that's good now. Wow, that's tight. All right, man, almost, man, I can't believe I screwed that up.